And again, my only comment about if you're going to, please mute your microphone if you're not asking a question. I will try to check the chat, but it's difficult when we're sharing the full screen. So if you have a question, please unmute. I'm going to start by sharing my screen. Oops. I got a text message, which probably means somebody can't get in. Nope. Okay. So the first question is, can everybody see my screen? Somebody needs to unmute and say yes.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes.
And you'll notice that suddenly I've changed my personality. I'm Brenda Knoffert. Well, here's the deal and why I'm doing this. One of the things we can do in Moxie, if, and there's a big if, you give me permission, I can log into your account and help do things for you. Now, that doesn't mean that I'm going to log into your account and do all your websites for you. However, the Knofferts have a very complex team set up, and Brenda is not using her individual website. So this gives me the chance to show you guys from the very, very beginning what happens when you set up a website. Okay? I'm sure collectively your heads are nodding. So what I'm going to do is once I'm in Moxie, click on my website. There are people in class following along. I doubt if you're following along at home because it's hard to split your screen up that many times. And you'll notice you get this little terms and condition thing that, you know, I'm going to speed read here because I have a photographic memory. Oh yeah, I remember what line 37 was. And I understand it all and I confirm. And then the website tool comes up that you guys get to see. This website can be as complicated as you want it to be or as simple as you want it to be. And since this is website 101, we're going to start with simple. And because I haven't been inside a brand new fresh website for a long, long time, because I've set up our company site, I may make some mistakes going through here and we'll learn together. Okay. Everybody in the classroom say yes. Yes. Thank you. Okay. No. Thanks, Lance. So the first, you'll notice that there's a whole bunch of common tasks here. Now, in general, I'm going to say you might want to follow this list as you're going down here, but it can get rather complicated if you get down into, I want to set up client testimonials, because you won't be using that with testimonial tree. It might get into more complication with the social links. So some of this stuff I'm not going to tell you today, but there are several things we want to pay attention before you get out of here. And that is make your site visible on search engines. Until you do that, your site won't be seen by the general public. Okay? You look puzzled. Okay. So we're going to start at the very top, and we're going to say personalize my site style. Now, if you go to this link, it's going to take you to the same place appearance does. So the idea of these common tasks are, if you don't know what you're looking for over here, you can kind of get direction here. So I'm going to click on, go there, personalize my site's style. And now we need the Jeopardy music while it's thinking. And this comes up. Now, for most of you, you're going to look at this and say, wow, I only have 2 choices. That's not much. Why do I want to mess with it? Well, the fact is you have 2 extremely simple choice or 1 incredibly customized choice. We're going to look at this customized choice either at the end of class, depending on how long we go, or Thursday. But for now, what colors do you want? the company default, which is green, or the distinctive. We're going to go with the green. Would you like to have something that is search focused or agent focused? Now, when you click on this view larger, it does show you a little larger, but not very much. So what I'm going to do is pick this agent focused for now, because I can see that the search bar is still down here. It's little, but it's there. The other way you can do it is the search focus, which puts the first thing on the page, your home search, and then the stuff about you second. But I want to go with this one for now, and I'm going to preview it. And this is what it would look like. Brenda at the top, featured properties, and all I've done so far is pick my first page, nothing else. I've decided I want to go with the other one. So let's go with the search focused and preview it. Well, see what that does is bring this up here, bring about Brenda next, featured properties, and so on. So when I say this can be extremely simplistic, it can. It can be about as simple as you want. And you'll notice I'm already getting navigation up here. I've got how to log in. I've got the logos. I've got everything I need legally. So we're going to go with this one, and we're going to push publish. For those of you who've never done any website stuff, publish is the same as save. You look really confused.
Because it's pulling up 156 acres in Rose Hill, Kansas. That's not, or never has been my listing.
Well, it may or may not be your listing, depending on how the featured properties are set up. Okay, but we'll get to that, I promise. What, Suzanne?
Can't hear the other person talk.
Oh, that's because she wasn't talking into the microphone. She thought some of the featured properties were hers. We haven't gotten down that, or not hers. We haven't gotten down that far yet, okay? So what I'm doing right now is I picked my front page, I have published, and now I want to go back to that page that we were just at. This can be a little confusing because you may think, oh, I want to go to my home page. I might want to do this and that. And there's some other stuff in here in header and footer that I'm ignoring for now because I'm trying to make this as simple as possible for you guys. So I'm going back to the home page, which takes me here. Well, the next thing I want to do is personalize my home page. So we chose one. Now we're going to personalize it. So I'm going to click on personalize my home page. Do I like this photo or not? Do I want the text in front of it to be black and white? Do I want to darken that photo, lighten that photo, or keep it normal? And again, I'm choosing nothing right now. Remember the first statement on the home page was find the perfect home to your dreams? Does everybody like that? Do you want me to change it? And let me go another way. What if you forgot what it looks like? Well, you can click on visit site and it opens up your site right here in the next tab over. And you could say, oh yeah, find the perfect home to bring your dreams to life. Well, that to me is too long and I don't like it. So I'm going to come down here and change this to a better, because Brenda's not going to ever use this, home search. You can call yourself a better agent. You can type in whatever you want. And once you have that in there, again, we need to go down to the bottom to save it and or publish it. I'm trying to make this extremely simple. How am I doing, Lance? Lance gives me a thumbs up. Cece? I told Cece this morning I needed her to ask stupid questions. And she said, I never ask a stupid question. And I said, oh, you just make me feel stupid. So, okay. So we have done that now. I could visit the site and probably, I think if I refresh it, it's going to show me what it looks like with the new search in it. It changes that quickly. So you can go back and forth and see what something looks like.
So how did you get back? How did you get to where you were able to check it?
Up at the top, it says visit site in the upper left-hand corner. That opens up a tab with your site, the way it looks, the way it's named. So now that I've done that and I've changed that, I'm going to title Brenda the happiest agent in real estate. And again, I'm going to save it because I like to save things and look at them. And all we're doing so far is messing with that front home page. Are we following along so far?
Yes.
I want to look at it again. And it now says, I don't know where it says it, but it ought to say the happiest agent in real estate. And maybe that doesn't show up in this particular layout.
It's
that's
just below her name on the upper left-hand corner.
Did I miss that? Oh, you're right. Right here. Thank you, Scott. The happiest agent in real estate. So part of the reason I suggest going back and forth like this, particularly when you're new, who wants to spend a bunch of time typing out a whole lot of stuff and you can't figure out if it's doing anything? Thank you, Scott. I'm going to come back over here. Now, if Brenda had some stuff that was already written in dash, purportedly it would come over here. Not necessarily, but it should have. So I'm going to do a little something. I clicked back on the initial page outside of the website. I'm going to look at Brenda's profile, and there's not much in there. So since I don't have anything in there, up there it is. That's what I was looking for. Brenda did have stuff in here. So I'm
You
going
went
to,
too fast. How did you get to that
okay.
right there?
There are tabs up here open. This one is the home page. Just to the left of that is a tab that says roster. When I go to her profile under roster, I see this that says web info. I'm going to highlight that web info and copy it. And now I'm going to go back into the website because I didn't want to type it all over again. And I'm going to put in this custom text that I just copied. And there it is. Notice that this is the welcome text. It says so right here. I could change the type or other things, but I'm not going to. Now I'm going to click publish or save again. It's been saved, and I'm going to come back over here and refresh this. And I can see all that text I just added. And now that I've looked at it, I might say, wow, that text is way too long. I'm going to shorten that. Or I'm going to type something else, or so on. But this is my point to this customization and adding things. You have to go back and forth and make sure you like it. I'm going to leave it there for now because I don't want to mess with it at this point. Featured properties are showing up. And so let's come back into here. And let's look down through the various things we can change. What's in there? Featured properties. And as Sherry asked a minute ago, right now, featured properties are set at a default as my office listings. The reason it's set that way is partially because some of the agents in the company have no listings. Or some of the agents in the company might want to go, my company's active listings, and now we're showing all of them. We could take that down to my active listings. So there's a choice that you can make here about what you want shown as featured properties.
Sorry.
That was Sherry and Lance fighting for a minute, so that was that extra
Yeah,
noise.
she just put my head. So if you don't have active listings yourself, you select that, what is it default to? Does it go to the office listings?
It will show you, right now, it's defaulted to my office listings. Everybody's is. If you want to do more, you can do my company listings, or you can do my active listings.
So this is the question. If you don't have any active listings, let's say I don't have any
Right.
active listings.
Uh-huh.
Click that now, set it up for my active listings.
Uh-huh.
I don't have any, what does it revert to? What does it
I have no
revert to?
idea. I've never tried it. And I can assure you Brenda has active listings. My guess is it will show nothing, but I don't know that. However, you'll notice right here, it says featured properties module, and you click on what's this next to it. And I'm going to get up here to read it. Featured property module displays a scroll of property photos for the property list that you choose. If you don't yet have the property list that you want, you can click the link to create one. When site visitors click on a property photo in the scroll, they will be taken to the listing detail page. You can opt to give this module a title such as My Listings or Featured Properties. And you can click on more about this if you want to look, because that's part of the help menu. Now, let me give you a lesson in website. You see this right here? That line across? That's called the fold. 80% of the people who visit your website never go below the fold. So if you put too much of your information down there, they won't know it's you. If your featured properties are down here, most of them are coming here to look for a property. They don't care if it's yours, mine, or anybody else's. They just want to look for a property. So for me, this module is kind of a, if it's there, it's okay. And if it's not, it's okay too. Same thing with going down to the sample mortgage rates and the neighborhood news. It's kind of nice to make the front page look pretty, but nobody's going to get below this right here. Okay. So I'm going to go back to this, and I'm going to tell you, you can spend as much time on this front page as you want. You can set up a custom search. I will cover custom searches Thursday. I don't want to do them today because I want to make sure that we get you how to get your website published. You can also put featured videos in if you want to add videos. And if you don't want the mortgage rates on the front, you see this little thing right here? It says hide this widget. You could hide those mortgage rates. So that ends my little spiel about how to customize the front page. You can add text. You can add all kinds of things. Now, yes, Lynn's got a question. We're passing microphones around because everybody's all over the room to plug their computers in.
Where do I find the URL to paste into other websites or sites that I'm on that or have the space for a website?
It must not be on.
It's the light will come on when they can hear you.
That's it.
Huh. Use that microphone. Yeah.
Okay, my question was, what is the URL that, or where can I find the URL for my website to paste into other social media platforms and things like that, that provide a place to direct people to my website?
You want to know what the web address is to
Yes.
this website.
Yes.
Funny you should mention that. That's what we're going to in just a moment. I do want to cover this image. Now, for me, I don't see this house as being horribly unlike Kansas. You could find that in College Hill or something. But if you wanted to change it, you could. Note this right here, 2200 by 1182 pixels. It's very important you get that size right, because when you're looking at this on a phone, the sizes will change significantly and won't show up right. So if I go over to our company website, you see I've got a picture in there of Wichita that I centered to try to make it so that it would show up if I was on a mobile phone. And when I spread it out, see, that's the picture I have in there. Now, you may prefer a picture of a house. Lance may want a tornado. That's not indicative of his personality. He chases storms, okay? So there could be a lot of pictures you want back there. But ultimately, you need to make sure that it is this size. And as you start uploading pictures, you're going to build a library of media. To give you an example of how complex you can be, I started out with nearly a blank slide. I have different communities across here that you click on, and it shows the homes in Andover, Derby, Goddard, Mays. This is some counter that shows how many homes we have. Testimonial trees, putting our testimonials in a front page. These click to automatic value tools, a better agent, and so on. Now I know as I get to the bottom of the page, nobody goes down there, but it's a sharp looking page with fireworks in the background over Wichita and the testimonials that come in here. So you can get very, very complex if you want to. And we will be talking about the complexity as we go along. But my first thing is, let's get your websites on and started, and then we can work on those things. So back to this home page. If you stay with this photo, you're kind of done with the home page. Everybody on board with that? Then let's go back to my home page and see what they believe my next tasks should be. This program has two kind of idiosyncrasies to it. The first is whenever you log into a computer, it sees where you're logged in from, and this program is going to set you up so that's where the search starts. Unfortunately, I could be logged in here in Wichita, Kansas, and because of my internet provider, it thinks I'm in Kansas City. And then it centers the map on Kansas City. The other thing this will do is if you have a client that's been on your web page on their computer, because of the way cookies and all those things work, it's going to go back to the last area of their last search. So it's not a bad idea to say, I want to set up my default search area. And that's the third thing on the list. So we click on it, and it's going to take me there. Well, this is very complex. I'm just going to tell you. You have to do a search on your page and see how it says Kansas City. So you go Wichita, Kansas, USA. And if you don't set this up, it's not the end of the world. But you see, it brings a map over here of Wichita. Well, we actually serve more than Wichita, so you could say something else, but that's going to be my beginning search. Is everybody with me on that? Then it's got more instructions over here. The easiest way is to do a custom search is to copy the URL no, sorry, URL beginning with search from your browser bar. Okay. So beginning with search,
How are you getting back to that?
see these two tabs up here?
Um,
Okay, remember I told you to visit your site?
Oh, okay.
And then I'm leaving that open and I did my search. And now I've got everything from search forward that I want to copy. My mouse is getting sticky. So I just go out there and copy all that. And I do a Control C to copy because it's easy. I know, this is really confusing. And then I click that in there. So some of you are going to try this, and some of you are going to go, no, I don't want to. It's not a big deal. They can type in Wichita, Kansas. I'm deciding that I want to set up so from at the very beginning, it'll say Wichita. If you don't want to do it, don't worry about it. If you need to do it, this kind of tells you how to do it. And I save it. It's not something that's that important, but I wanted to at least show you how. Do you want me to show you again? Okay. So I go to Brenda's homepage.
Well, let me type in Wichita.
Huh?
Well, let me type in Wichita.
Hang on just a second. What does it let you type in?
Well, nothing.
Oh, you're on a preview. You're not on your site. You have to close it.
Okay, so how do you get on your site?
Visit site.
Okay, I was there and all the changes I made, and not a single one is there.
That's because you didn't publish it.
I thought I did.
Okay, so now that we're visiting the site, and you'll notice what happened is I saved Wichita, Kansas, and that's the default site here. All that work we just did was so it would say Wichita instead of Kansas City. It will go by county. It'll do Sedgwick. I wish you could add, multiple counties, or you can go back to the map and draw a big circle if you want. But you type in Wichita, or let's use Lance's example of Sedgwick, and it will bring up the county. If my mouse will behave. And now it's doing a search for Sedgwick County. And you see it drew Sedgwick County around there.
You're in Colorado.
Thank you, Scott. Me too. I just wasn't as smart as Lance was and as smart as Scott. Scott's laughing at me over there. Then you take everything from search forward. So you see it says Brenda, Nofford, Alliance, Sites, bhgrealestate.com, and then search. I start at search and copy everything else. Now, believe me, folks, if you don't want to do all this work, it just means your site will start at Kansas City or wherever they're at, and they will type in Wichita. I just want to make it easier on them. So now I need to get rid of all that, go back to the search and paste it in and save it. Now that I've thoroughly confused you, and some of you going, no problem, let me save that. So we're on Sedgwick. And let's
Can I
move.
ask a question real quick?
Yes.
Okay, so like I've got mine set up to start at Derby. And then, sorry, my phone's beeping. And then there's a drop-down box where you can select different things. Can you set up multiple searches that they can click on there?
Yeah, but I'm not going to do that one yet. If you
Okay.
thought this one was confusing, that was a joke, by the way. Nobody laughed.
I did.
Okay, so create custom search links. So let's give another example. Remember on my home page over here, let me go back up to it, where I have different cities, Mays, extended Kansas suburbs, Andover, Derby, and so on. I'm going to click on my extended. Come on. The link must not be. There it is. Well, that was crummy. I got to go back to fix that then. Oh man, I'm going to have to redo all those. I can set up and create custom links to various pages. Now, I don't know why mine just didn't work, because they were working before I changed my URL. So I may have to go back and change all my URLs, which is a good reason not to get down into this until you have your domain set up. But you can set up custom searches, menu links, and then organize your site's menu order. I'm going to go ahead and go there for a moment. I don't want to get too excited about it. But remember at the top of Brenda's page, we have the home page, we have property, buying and selling, about me, and neighborhood news. Well, if you don't like the order that menu is in, let me go down it one more time. Neighborhood news, about me, buying and selling, properties, home. If you want to change the order of that, this is where you would do that. I clicked on inside of this page, organize your site's menu or page order. It's like the 5th or 6th one down. Okay. Yes. But it's also site pages over here on the left. So here's the deal. As I told you up front, that opening page tells you several places you'll probably want to go to. As you get used to where you're going to, you can just jump around the menu over here. You don't have to go back and forth to that first page. So we're in site pages right now. The first thing we have up is home. The second thing we have up is edit properties. The third thing is buying and selling and financial calculators. Then we have the about me. Now you'll also see testimonials is a great one to comment on. It says it's hidden. Well, it is hidden. Part of the reason it's hidden is in this site, it doesn't use the automatic feed from testimonial tree we can set up. We want to set that up later. You can have a blog. It is also hidden. And then you have neighborhood news, which is down here at the bottom. What if we want neighborhood news to appear up here above about me? What we would do is grab neighborhood news, see how the little arrows go on it, and pull that up to just in front of about me. Then we publish it. And now if we go back over to Brenda's site and refresh and go home, because I didn't go to the home page. Well, even here, you'll see that in this navigation bar, neighborhood news is now in front of about me. So we've rearranged the navigation. Again, I don't want you to get too excited about that until you get your website live. But let's say, for example, that you have nothing in the My Bio page. This is where you would go to hide it until you put something in it. Or this is where you would go to edit it until you get something in. We will stop there for now, because the next steps I want to talk about is turning your website on and custom domains. So you'll see that all of these, they say you can go there and look at it, and you can. but you can also make changes as you're going. Let's get it live. The first thing you want to do is make your site visible to search engines.
Hey, you can slow down a little bit, 'cause we're running slow.
Okay. I go to the home page right here at the top. That brings up that beginning page again of common tasks. You scroll down to completing your site activation. The number one step, they say once you've personalized and all of that, this page is going to be your guide to getting through here. Click on Make Your Site Visible to Search Engines. You can ignore nearly everything up here because you don't care. What you do care about is this last box. If you've got discouraged search engines from indexing this site, that means it's going to be hard for your clients to find you. Very hard. So we want to turn that off. And then save. And then this magic thing's going to happen at the very top.
I'm
As soon as
I'm
this-
sorry.
Hmm?
I'm sorry, Greg. What did you turn off?
On the home page, you scroll down to where it says make your site visible to engines. Go there.
Got that.
And then it says search engine visibility. There was a box checked on here. It says discourage search engines from indexing this site. You want to be sure to uncheck that box.
Okay.
Okay. Then you save the changes. And then up here, it will no longer say search engines blocked. That's all we care about. You only have to do that one time when you want to make it live. The next thing most of you are going to want to do is if you have a custom domain, you want to set up your custom domain. So let me try to explain this the best I can. Lance asked a question earlier about if my domain's on GoDaddy, it's now pointed here. No, nobody can repoint your domain, and we do that on purpose. That's how a domain would get hijacked. And Lance's, what is your storm chaser? realestategreamchaser.com would now be pointed to a porn site in Russia someplace. So there is a very high security level on making sure your domain goes to where you want it to go. Lynn asked a question earlier about what her domains, I don't know how I want to say it, permalink would be a better question, but her link to her website would be. And I want to see, I know where one place is. I want to see where the other place shows up. Homepage, no, it's not showing me the permalink here. So when you go up here to visit site, let me go back through that again. There's an upper left-hand corner. That button is going to be your friend. That visits your website as it exists. You click on that, and this right now is your website's URL. That very long, albeit close, it's got your name. You work for Alliance. These are our websites, and it's BHG Real Estate. But nobody wants to go type that in, right? No. So what I'm recommending you do is get a custom website from someplace. Now, as Lance said, he's got one at GoDaddy. Sandra, do you have a custom site yet, URL? She says a long time ago, she doesn't know. I know that Sherry's got several. Cece has one. Okay.
Hey, Greg,
Yes, Scott.
and I have been migrating, I've been doing everybody's Moxie Engage. If you don't have a current website, use GoDaddy. Moxie works so much better with GoDaddy that you don't need to change the settings in when you use a GoDaddy. With all the other website providers, you have to go in there and change the DNS settings. It's a pain. So
Well,
use GoDaddy.
And I'm going to get into that. Joel had a comment, and Joel, you are correct that it has a lot less filters. It has about the same amount of filters that a normal website has out there, be it Zillow, Realtor.com, etc. What I'm encouraging you guys to do is once you get a client, lock them in over to Real Scout, which gives you all kinds of filters. But until they do, this is kind of a entry-level site to engage your clients. So back to where Scott was at, which is GoDaddy. I fully agree that GoDaddy, and I'm going to go back up here to the home site on purpose, maybe. If I can get my mouse to participate. This home page at the top. And down at the bottom, if you already have a GoDaddy site, I would strongly recommend, or URL, I strongly recommend you continue using it. If you've got it supported someplace else, it can be done. And they are pretty decent about helping you through with it. If you don't have one at all, you can, and this is where your vanity domain you would go to set up, completing your site activation. Number 2. Inside here, this is also giving your site domain currently. And it says, don't have a vanity domain, personalize your website with the custom domain and go right here. I did this as an experiment. It's an okay place to go, but I think I'd prefer you to go directly to GoDaddy. The reason is, this is a white labeled GoDaddy site that Moxie Works tries to work with. Unfortunately, it doesn't connect to your regular GoDaddy site. So if you already have a GoDaddy account, don't go there. I mean, don't use this. If you already have a domain, it tells you right here, have a domain, skip to step 2. And it asks you to fill out a form. Step 2, contact support, fill out this form. So let me explain what's happening. Your websites are hosted on Moxie site. You could theoretically go to GoDaddy and forward your site here, and it will work. It's a little slower, and it's not as great for search engines. Just going to tell you, that's the way it works.
In other words, what you're saying, what you just described is, and what I've got mine doing is GoDaddy points it.
Right.
The site. So doing it that way is slow.
Is slower, less reliable, and doesn't work for search engines quite as well. It's a little more complicated doing it the other way, but it's a much better way. When you have a domain, your domain provider allows you to say, here's my URL and my website's over there. And it then does, as Scott was saying, the DNS servers and other things, it points it to the right server to make sure you get great access to your website. They are very explicit about their instructions. They send you an email that has screenshots and pictures, and you go into GoDaddy and you set up your CNAME once. If you need help, I will gladly do it. Tracy can help. Devin will be able to help by the end of the day. Again, it's not a skill that you will do a lot, and it's something I have done a lot. But if you do that, when they type in the domain, the website opens a lot faster, a lot more reliable, and search engines like it better. It has to do with duplication of websites and so on. Another thing that happens is when you forward a website, the website will go here. It'll say, where am I forwarding to? I found the website. I'm going to bring it up. And then your domain name will disappear and this new long thing will show up. We like your domain to be the thing that captures all the site. So please trust me on this. If you already have a domain, fill out this form, which I'm going to click on, and it asks you a lot of questions. Who are you? What's the username for your Moxie account? What brokerage are you with? How do we email you? And the domain to be redirected. And this would be betterks.com, realestateDreamChaser.com, whatever your domain is. And then who you're working with. Where's your domain at? Is there a custom email address associated with it? 90% of you will say no. Joel's might point here, I'm not sure. And there may be a couple of others, but it's very few. How can we link our Real Scout to our website? I promise I will show you that, Joel, but not yet today. Because I want to make sure everybody gets these sites turned on. That was my primary goal. Once you fill out this form and email it to them, it will take a day, maybe two, and you'll get an email back that says, okay, you've got a GoDaddy site. We need you to type this information in this spot and you're done. If you don't want to do that, if you would rather do a forward, as Lance showed up, I'm not going to say it won't work. It will work. It's just not as reliable. Use the microphone, please.
Go ahead.
Where do we find our username of the Moxie Works account?
Great question. And I knew that was coming up. Remember back at when we very first logged in and it's got your profile and it says, and you click on the one that says roster or whatever it says, you will find your Moxie username under personal info. See this real long set of numbers? That's your Moxie username. I know, sounds stupid, but it has to way with all the how the data goes. That's where you find it.
We need to go do that other.
Well, so you would come over here, you would highlight it. Remember, there's two tabs open, one for the website, one for your main profile roster page, whatever it is. Okay, no. That's different. I'll show you in a minute. So that's where you get that agent username that you will probably never, ever, ever need again. Thank you, Cece. And glue that in to the form. The rest of the information you probably already know and don't need any help with. There's one more thing that you need to do once you have that set up and your domain set up. I know this is complicated, folks, but this is important stuff. And that's why I'm spending this whole hour just on getting your front page set up and things live. If you go back to the home page, that's the one that has all the common tasks on it. The very bottom, you want to apply a SSL certificate. An SSL certificate means that somebody out there in internet land has guaranteed that your website is you and goes to where it's supposed to. You know, up at the top where you get the HTTP and then sometimes there's an S and sometimes there isn't an S. This is the S. If you click on that, you're going to find it's not enabled. And you want to go ahead and activate it. And then it will pick up and see if there's a site and turn it on. You just have to click, go ahead and activate my SSL. That's it. Now
Do that now?
no,
Can we do that now, but should we do it after we've got?
after your
GoDaddy
domain
is
is
set up.
moved over, after your domain is moved over is when I would do it.
What if we already did it?
Well, then I guess you'll have to flush and try it again or ask. You know, there's always this help button down here. Hey, where you can chat with somebody. Hey, I did my SSL under my old URL. How do we get the new one on? See what they tell you. Now I know that for some of you, you're going, this is all easy and I'm done. Some of you are going to say, wow, I need some extra help. I want to see the recording again. I want to make an appointment with me, Tracy, whoever. I get that. I understand. But it's very, very important that you get your initial website set up. Because when you click on various things on the company site or the things that Realogy puts out, they're all being pointed to a website. And if you haven't turned it on, it will say it doesn't exist yet. You don't want to go to a blank page, right? Okay. I'm now open for questions.
The username of Moxie works.
Sherry asked how you get to the username again. I have two tabs open here. Now my tab says roster because I'm the broker. I'm sorry, I can't fix that. But that first tab where you log into Moxie before you hit Moxie website has your profile on it. You have personal info, contact info, web info. And when you scroll down, you're going to see agent and you're going to see username. That is you right there. Okay. Are there other questions?
Username of Moxie Works account.
Okay, then what I'm going to do is stop recording. I'm going to encourage everyone to try to get this much done by Thursday. If you don't get it done, it is not the end of the world.
On your brokerage name in the Moxie Works request to redirect the agent domain, do we put Better Homes and Gardens Real Estate Alliance?
Okay, you're talking about the form.
I'm in the form. I've got
Okay.
everything filled
Yeah,
out.
can we start from the beginning on that? Because I need help with username of Moxie Works account. That
Okay.
domain should be set up.
Let's start over again. So when you're going to set up a custom domain, you go down to completing your site action, set up vanity domain, go there. And you don't need to do step one unless you're going to use Moxie to buy your custom domain. If you already have one, you can go right here. If you don't have one, you can go to GoDaddy and buy the custom domain. When you click on fill out the form, notice how I hover over it and it says the name of the website owner. On the right-hand side, it said, this is the name of the agent, broker, realtor site you're setting up. Username from Moxie. This information helps Moxie efficiently and so on, and we showed you where to find that. By accessing your Moxie Work account, the profile picture, and selecting my account and finding the username value. So I showed you, you can find it here. I believe you can also go up here. Well, it's
We
going
just
to,
copy and paste the username in our roster personal information, right?
right. The username is, I believe, right here. That is your username value. It's on the profile page under personal info. It says agent, office, directory display, and it has username, and that's the value.
You want want us to use for brokerage name?
That's my question.
Brokerage name is BHGRE Alliance.
PHTRD Alliance.
Mm-hmm. The best email address is you guys, because you know you have control of your domain. I do not. The domain to be redirected would be like Lance's real estate dream chaser. For us, it was betterks.com and so on. 99% of you will say no to this question because you don't have your own personal email set up on a different domain that is also the email from your website domain. You use betterks.com. If you do have an email set up, then you would need to say yes to that so they can properly tell you what to do. And then you'll hit submit at the bottom.
Okay, Greg, it says at the bottom, is there a custom email address associated with this domain?
Mm-hmm.
Is it talking about?
Your,
Let me finish the question.
okay.
Is it, I have my Gmail account is what I use to set up my GoDaddy account. Is that what they're talking about, or are they talking about something completely different?
Do you have an email address that ends in realestateDreamchaser.com? Okay, that's what they mean. Okay, let's see. So Kathleen, if you have that as an email, then you would do that, but okay, KathleenConnects.com, thank you.
I think it should take you there. That's what I was,
Oh.
and I do
Well,
have that as my Google, but I haven't done it yet. It's not all set up.
yes, now this is what you call an email, URL forward. There's nothing wrong with it, but you'll notice after I typed in Kathleen Connects, it forwards to the new website and then changes to Kathleen Jones-Alliance.sites.bhdre and all that. So if you want your Kathleen Connects to point directly here and stay there all the time, that's when you would need to fill out the form and do the entire thing that I just showed you.
Okay. All right. Is there a reason to do it one way? I mean, I was listening, but
Yes, the forwarding sometimes will slow down when it's going through a
the places,
GoDaddy or
right?
Gmail, things like that.
Yeah.
And then search engines almost start saying, oh, well, you've got two identical websites with the same domain. That's a problem.
Okay.
Greg, when we're in here making all these changes, are they pretty instant when we save them, or does it take a little bit of time for it to update?
When you make changes on your website, like some words and whatnot, and you publish them, they're almost instantaneous. When you make a change with the DNS and the URLs and whatnot, they can take sometimes 24 hours. Now, when I changed the betterks.com one over, it happened within about 15 minutes. So they say it can take some time, but it doesn't always.
By the way,
Microphone, please.
I did type in my real estate dream chaser to see where it would go to, and it's still going back to the greenhouse. So there's something there.
It's going to the old Zap site.
Correct.
That's not going to happen forever.
I realize that.
Right.
The other question I have for you is when it comes to like the pictures on the homepage on my site, I have to, if I wanted to use my own listings or my own properties I've sold, I have to use one of my own listings. I can't use one that my buyers purchased, correct?
That would be, yes. I mean, technically, once they own it, if the new owner gives you permission, you're fine. But they also need to give you permission for that photograph. When you've got your own old listing, you already have permission for the photograph. So it's a little easier to use.
There was a place in there to put, you know, the permission and everything. So you just click that pretty much, then.
Yes. Well, when you
Okay.
click that, you are agreeing that you already have permission.
Okay.
Okay. Are there any more questions about getting your website at least up and running? Then what I'm going to do on Thursday is we will. Whoops, somebody said something. Question?
If our website was up and going and now it's not, is it because you changed something?
Please email me directly because no, I haven't changed anything. Send me an email with your domain and whatnot, and I'll look into it right after this class. Okay. Okay, then. We will continue playing with Brenda's site. And again, it's going to be a little bit more customization. How you add a saved search, how you add custom pages. That's going to be my next direction. I think that should be, in custom links, because that's fairly easy. So it looks very complicated. It can be extremely flexible. But because it's extremely flexible, it can get complicated or it can stay simple. I am going to stop the recording now.